and Councilmember Colbeck.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next up is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions, changes, or deletions to our agenda? Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or take out? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
That's a move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains the following items for approval: the October 21st, 2024 regular meeting minutes, the payment of claims, and listing of bills. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Community concerns. Has anyone signed in for community concerns, Deb?
None. No one has signed in. We haven't received any phone calls or no emails.
Okay, all right. So we'll move on then to legal, and that's consideration of the ordinance 161 fourth series. And that's an ordinance of the city of Pipestone repealing the section 11.42 and repealing and replacing section 153.17 of the Pipestone City Code with regard to renewable energy systems. And Jason has come up with a proposal for us. And Jason, do you have anything you'd like to add for the consideration of ordinance 161?
No, I'll just add that I know the Pipestone Planning Commission, they spend a lot of time looking into this and reviewing this. And I think it's a good ordinance that they put forward.
All right. Yeah, thank you. I know they did put in a lot of time and effort, and there was some question about the size of some of the fields that possibly could come in, and that was very well clarified by our city attorney, and I think we've got a good ordinance here that's going to give our zoning official the tools he needs to do his job. So good job by everyone on this. So I'd entertain a motion to approve with a roll call vote then.
I so move to accept ordinance 161 fourth series.
It's been moved and seconded, and if we could have our clerk do a roll call.
Okay. Mayor Delaney.
I will vote in favor.
Councilmember Thompson. I'll vote in favor. Councilmember Swanson
I'll vote in favor.
and Councilmember Colbeck.
I'll vote in favor.
Okay, that would be 4 ayes and 0 nays.
Oh, motion carries. Thank you. On to engineering. The 2023 Street and Utility Improvement Project, pay request number 12. And Travis, you'll have a recommendation to the council here on this pay request in the amount of $78,419.65 to Holstein Excavating.
Yes, thanks, Mayor and Council. This represents everything that has been done to date, which is essentially all work. The job is complete, minus a few punch list items yet, and then reconciliation of a few quantities with the contractor. So job to date, our original bid was just over 6.6 million. We added 268,000 in change orders, which was an additional block of street. And to date, we are about 200,000 under that overall budget. So things came out very well on this large of a project. We're about 97% of the cost bid. We do recommend approval of this pay request in the amount of $78,419.65.
And just for the record, the 2023 Street and Utility Improvement Project, and that's actually a project that started in 2023 and finished in 2024. It was a 2-year project, and yeah, very big project, but a a lot of good work done, and it was certainly needed, so. I'd entertain a motion then for approval.
I'll make motion to approve pay request number 12.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is the concession stand project, pay request number 6, and that's a final pay request. And again, I'll turn that over to our city engineer, Travis Winter.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. So the pay request in front of you represents the remainder of work that was complete. That was $15,180, as well as the retainage that was held back on the project in the amount of, the pay app was without retainage. Let me say that again. The pay app included the final amount of work and then the retainage. So the total was $39,308.45. A walkthrough was completed a couple weeks ago with the architect, some representatives from the city and the contractor. All work has been completed and satisfied, and we recommend this final payment to Double D.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for pay request number 6 and final pay request for the concession stand project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any questions or discussion? And certainly a nice project. We're glad to see it come to a conclusion, and it's going to tie in well with the soccer field in that area, and we should have a nice area for those folks to participate in soccer games and everything else. And hopefully that concession stand can be used as a picnic type area too, with the addition that we put on it. And there's a bathroom there and running water, and certainly was needed in that area. So all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. The PAPI and the REIL replacement project pay request number 3. And again, Travis, can you fill us in on this? This is the airport and FAA grant.
Yep, so this is the runway edge and backlighting that was let previously. All work has been complete. We're just waiting on some closeout paperwork from the contractor. So this application does still hold retainage in the amount of $12,442, but the amount due on this pay app is $60,918.79.
I would like to add on there too, we are actually waiting on the flight inspection. The FAA has to perform a flight inspection as well. Make sure everything's working.
Will that be something that'll be completed this fall?
That is correct.
Yep.
Yeah, it's supposed to happen quite soon, I believe, Rob said.
Okay, all right. So I'd entertain a motion to approve pay request number 3.
I so move.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed say no. And motion carries. Thank you. Old business, approved street name for the County Road 67. And that was a discussion that we had at our last meeting that we chose to table because we had, it was just a tie all the way around. And so anyway, gives you more time to think about the decision, and we need to know a name for that County Road 67. It's officially not even County Road 67. It does not have a name, and it's a little difficult to do business without a name on a thoroughfare like that, with addressing and for emergency services. Emergency services relies on their CAD system, their computer-aided dispatching system. And if we don't have a name, we don't have it in the GPS system, it doesn't work. So it's our responsibility. We're the group that is responsible to coordinate all that information so that the emergency services people can do their job. And so we know we need to come up with a name. We just need to figure out what it is. So I'd entertain a motion to approve a name for that area.
Make a motion for a Second Avenue Northeast.
I'll second that.
We have a motion on the floor to name that area Second Avenue Northeast. And it has been, is there any discussion or comments? And I guess I will comment on that. As naming that Second Avenue Northeast, that would be our only avenue with a east and west direction in our entire city limits. And I think it would be very confusing for people to find that area as an avenue, Second Avenue, because it doesn't connect with Second Avenue. And so I think it's a unique area, it's a unique street or avenue or drive, whatever it turns out to be. But I think it has to have a separate name. And as far as the decision, whatever that is, it's something that we need to do. So I hope we can come to a conclusion today. So we have a motion on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. No. And we have a tie, so the motion fails.
I move we table this till the 18th, next council meeting. Hopefully Mr. Schmidt will be here. And we can come. And also the residents of Pipestone, if you got any names for the street, we'd sure appreciate them.
The feedback I got from residents.
Well, we had a motion on the floor, so we would need a second for that motion.
I'll second his motion.
And with that motion and seconded, is there any discussion? So go ahead with your discussion.
Feedback I got from people in town was, yes, it's needed that we would have a Veterans Drive. They like the idea of Veterans Drive more out at the park around the Veterans Display area. They like the idea of the number system out there to keep the existing grid that we have around the rest of the town. The Second Avenue out there is roughly at most 90 feet either way from being lined up with the Second Avenue by Fort Pipestone. Otherwise, if the road went all the way through, they're about 90 feet apart. You know, one is further east than the other is.
Any other discussion or comments? I guess I would comment that I had several people that I had talked to and came forward with, they thought that Veterans Drive was a very nice name for that area. And there was some concern about naming the, I think you're talking about the driveway area to Hiawatha Pageant Park area and using that as a name to represent veterans. And I don't know if we can do that because with our original agreement in that area, it's Hiawatha Pageant Park. And we don't have the right to change that. And so I don't think we can change that area to any other name other than that. And I would not be in favor of changing that area to any other name. I've talked with representatives from the Legion Auxiliary. They're in favor of Veterans Drive. Talked to the Sons of the Legion. They're in favor of Veterans Drive. I've talked to individual veterans. They were in favor of Veterans Drive. I think the hangup came from, we had a city employee that felt it was going to be a burden to change the name. And yet it's not a burden. It's a 15-minute ordeal to fill out a change of address form at the post office. And then you would have 90 days to contact your vendors and get that address in their system. So that is not a valid argument in my book that it's too much work to change the name. We have an opportunity here to recognize people that have put forth service to not only this community, but to this country. And I think it's the least we could do is recognize them in a case like this. That area out there, there's more than just one reason to talk about a veterans type memorial in that area, because it ties into the Civil War reunion where they had out there at what is now the National Monument area. It ties in between Falls Landing and Good Sam, where several veterans end up spending their final days. And I just think that we have an opportunity here to do something to promote the Veterans Memorial and the fundraising efforts that the people that have been working on that for several months, if not years, and probably will continue to be working on it before we see that come to light in, in the next couple of years. So it's an ongoing project. And that's why I would favor Veterans Drive over the proposed 2nd Avenue Northeast. Any other questions or comments? So we have a motion on the floor to table this until our next regular scheduled meeting. We need to kick the can down the road here again. And all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. New business, resolution 2024-56. On October 9th, 24, the Planning Commission conducted a public hearing to consider a conditional use application for Jan Kennedy and to construct a 22 by 24 foot secondary garage on property owned at 904 5th Avenue Southeast. The Planning Commission approved that request and recommended that the City Council also approve that conditional use permit. So I'd entertain a motion at this time.
I'd make the motion that we approve the request by the planning commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? And hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Resolution 2024-57. State Statute 412.191 Subdivision 4 requires publication of all ordinances, but allows only the title and summary to be published in cases where the council deems it's appropriate because of the length of an ordinance. Ordinance 161 4 Series is a lengthy ordinance, and we had that in our packet, so we all know that. This resolution would authorize publication of a summary for ordinance 167 4 Series, and approval of the resolution requires a 4/5 majority vote. And so there's only 4 of us today here, so we would have to have 3.2 of us vote in favor of it to pass it, or at least 3.2. So
Put our hands down then.
yeah. I don't know who would be that 0.2, but anyway. I'd recommend a motion to approve this, and would we eventually have this complete ordinance on a website?
Yes,
Yeah, so if someone wanted to look at it completely, you could on the internet, but,
or they can come to City Hall.
or come to City Hall.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I move we accept resolution 2024-57.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And so the motion carries with a 4-0. We meet the 4/5 majority requirements. Consider approval for application for a municipal dance license for church concert. And we have this would be the, let's see, 623 3rd Street Southwest. They're requesting a permit from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on November 23rd. And the sheriff's department would be notified. These types of permits have been approved in the past. And this is from which church do we have here? This would be.
That's that church, it's a Hispanic church and it's over on Third Avenue South, or Third Street Southwest, excuse me. And we have requested that they get a permit, a dance permit, because sometimes it can get rather loud. And this way then, and they know that, but it's been a new owner of the church. There's been some complaints received in the past due to the noise level. They've never gotten a permit prior to us requesting that they get this permit. But in the past couple of years, they've gotten a permit. It has been approved and they have abided by all the ordinance rules and regulations. Sheriff has been notified and they are very conscientious of the noise level.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? So I'd recommend a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve
Yeah.
the dance permit?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, just so I was clear on that. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you. Then we need to schedule a special meeting to canvass the election results, and between the third and the 10th day after the city general election, the council must meet as a canvassing board and declare the results of the election. And the staff's recommending either Tuesday, November 12th or Wednesday, November 13th at a time that we can determine at this point. So I guess my calendar, Wednesday, the 13th would probably work a little better.
Same for mine.
Okay. Any preference?
I can make 13th work.
All right. And is it during regular business hours? Would that be probably easier for city staff and everything? Okay. Would Wednesday, November 13th at 1 p.m.?
Because isn't Kiwanis at noon, Dan?
Yeah.
You got changed. Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
that we were thinking 1 o'clock, but we wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, and I can be here at 1.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'd entertain a motion for our special council meeting to canvass the election for Wednesday, November 13th at 1 p.m.
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you. Approve advertising for rental of the North Hiawatha Ag Land and the Lagoon Hay Land. And the North Hiawatha Ag Land and the Lagoon Hay Land lease expires December 31st, so we should be advertising for that and see what we can come up with. So we normally in the past have they've been separated. They're separated, right?
They're two different
They're two
leases. That
different
is
plats,
correct.
so there'd
Yep.
be 2 different advertisements.
Correct.
And we open it up for a 3-year term, and I'd entertain a motion to get that ball rolling.
So
I'll make
move.
that motion that we start advertising for the ag land rentals for the lagoon land and the North Hiawatha land.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you. Next up, closing comments. Any closing comments from anyone?
Get out and vote if you haven't already.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I've got a couple here. This week is the last week of the leaf cleanup. If you see the leaf vac go by this week, please do not put any more leaves out because they went by and that's it. And you can, however, take them to the tree compost pile anytime yourself. So that's still available, but they are out there working this week. And if they went by, your chance is over. But you should be able to get some things out there in some of those areas yet. So, and for anyone who still has the city Pipestone garbage bags, They need to be used up by December 31st. If you need a garbage tote, just contact City Hall here and Ashley can get one lined up for you. And they come in what, 2 or 3 different sizes, I think?
35
3 different sizes, so,
35 gallon, 65 gallon, and 95 gallon.
okay. So there's a size that'll meet anyone's needs there. Tomorrow's election day, so get out and vote. City of Pipestone residents can vote at St. Leo's Catholic Church from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Any other comments?
Good luck to our 3 candidates tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mayor Dan Delaney, Councilmember Verdine Colbeck, and Councilmember Danielle Thompson.
So there being nothing else on the agenda, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
I got one more thing, Dan.
Oh, go ahead.
On your,
Sorry.
the leaf back thing, they want to make sure that they have the garbage cans and any vehicles out of the way if they've got leaf piles there, because otherwise it's impossible for them to pick them up.
Yeah, good point. Right. All right, so entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There won't be any on that adjournment, so. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.